Hello students, this is example 2 of week 3. Hopefully you have already gone through the slides and done example 1. So this example is a very simple example. It is mostly just show you how to use the pattern feature in sketching, and also it will involve quite a few curves. So first I'm going to start with a sketch on the YX plane. Okay, then I'm going to start with half of one of the 4 petals of the clover. That I will do that using the arc. So I'm going to start with the 13mm one. Just going to put in 2 points arbitrarily and say it should be 13. Like that. Then I'm just going to move it a little bit to here, and then the second arc is the 5mm one, which should be on top of this one. So I'm going to put that in and say it should be 5. I'm just going to place it first and then put in the dimension, because sometimes the way you put it in, it doesn't allow it isn't possible for the dimension to be what you want it to be. So I'm just going to first say these two should be tangent. You will see from the sketch that those two curves are very smooth, so that means they are tangent. Now I will put in this radius to be 5mm. Okay. Next I will just put in the first dimension to try and constrain this part of the petal. So I will start with, I will click D, and then the dimension from this point to is the start point of that arc, and the sketch origin, and that should be 6.2mm. Okay, before putting another dimension, I'm just going to say that this point, the end point of the topmost arc, and the sketch origin, those two should be vertically aligned, like so. Then I will put in dimension again. So once again I will click D on my keyboard. So the topmost arc's center point and the sketch origin, and this dimension should be 15mm. Okay, now I just want to move like the sketch just a little bit like so, because this point should be on the left side of the y-axis. Then I will constrain this point from the left side. You'll see it's also like that on this the sketch that we were given. So I will select the sketch origin and this point, and then this dimension should be 3mm. Okay. Then lastly, I think to constrain the sketch we have so far is I'll just move this one a little bit up, and then the vertical dimension between the sketch origin and that point, it should be 6 point, okay, I accidentally entered, but it should be 6.2mm. There you go. So now this part of the sketch is constrained. Now I will, to make one complete petal, I will just mirror this curve. So I will just select this curve, and it automatically selects the whole curve. And for the center line I will select the y-axis and just apply. Okay, now that we have this, we can use the pattern feature. So the curve we want to pattern is this curve, the whole curve. It automatically once again selects the entire curve. Then there is an option for linear as well as circular, and in this case we will want to use the circular one, since we want to mirror it in a circular direction. Our rotation point will be the sketch origin, and then it would automatically add 4 and 360 degrees, because that is how I did it previously. But you can change those things for how you want to pattern it if you're sketching something else. But in this case we want it to be count of 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and the 4 parts should be around one circle, 360 degrees. So now we can just select apply. Okay, now all that is still needed is the last part of the clover. So we're going to use 2 arcs. I'm just going to select this point there, a point on that on that curve. I'm just going to select a place there and say I want it to be 35 millimeters, and I'm just going to select so. And it now wanted to make these 2 tangent, but I don't want them to be tangents, so I'm just going to delete that. Then I'll put in the second curve, so, and then I'll choose this curve here. Okay, so sometimes when you select a curve, it wants to select the curve's center point, so you just have to make sure it like makes a little dot on the curve so that you select the point on curve and not the arc center. Okay, so I'll just say it should be until there, and it should be 36.5. Okay, it looks a little weird because it sometimes just want to automatically put constraints in, but I don't want that constraint, so I'm just going to delete it and just move this one so that it looks a little bit better. Now I want to put in a line to connect these 2 curves, and this line you will see from the sketch, it is horizontal, so parallel to the x-axis, so I'll just put in that it should be horizontal. And then you can also say the line's dimension, so click D, it is 5 millimeters. Then I can also put in a constraint for between this point here. I'm just going to select it, and the sketch origin, and that should be 6 millimeters. Okay, now before putting in the last dimension, I'm just going to put in 2 more constraints. So this arc here and this point, so there should be a constraint that this point is a point on this curve. So I'm going to select sketch origin, and I'm going to make sure that the curve is highlighted in red, and just select point on curve. And I'm going to do the same for this other curve. I'm just going to right click and say select from list, so that I choose the sketch origin. Sometimes when there are a lot of things on top of each other, you just have to right click and say select from list to find the thing that you want. Then I'm going to click this curve again when it is highlighted red and say point on curve. Okay, so there's only one auto dimension left, so we only have to add one more dimension. So I click D, and then this point here, and then the sketch origin, and I'm going to make this dimension 50. Okay, so that is the sketch, and then I can just say finish, and that is it. So it was quite a simple example, so I hope you also got it right and saw how the pattern feature in sketching works. Thank you.